Yes. And I'm not criticizing that ambition. So, I mean, we're not going to leave it here and just say, well, you have one ambition and I have another.
No.
I mean, I see some things that I think I see something to say about. I mean, in one sense, what it is to grasp. Well, I'll say, here is what somebody has grasped if they understand a speaker. But now if you say, no, well, what is it for them to grasp it? Well, the way I was just describing it, we have two people, each of whom has a language, each of whom has a more or less fully developed set of concepts and so forth. And their only problem is to figure out what the other one is up to.
Yes.
That throws light on something. And if I were right, it throws some light on the relationship between truth and meaning. But if you say, but what is it to understand either one of these concepts? I see some ways to approach this, but I doubt that they would satisfy you, and they don't seem to me fully satisfactory either. I'm willing also to talk about the situation in which one person has a language and the other one doesn't have any language, and I would say doesn't in any real sense have propositional thoughts. I think of these two things as going together. Perhaps you do.
I do too.
Yes. I mean, not everyone agrees with us.
I know that, but they're not here.
Now, here I think I can describe some elements in the situation in which a person without language or thought can be brought into the community of speakers and thinkers. Of course, it's not a detailed, factual account, and in fact, I think there's a problem that can't be solved, which is how to describe the state of mind of somebody who's halfway there. People who describe language acquisition seem to me are in much more trouble than they think they are.
Yes.
When they try to describe the stages through which this goes. But I think I do see some of the necessary conditions for that. And they do throw some light, or so it seems to me, on where people get the concept of objectivity. That is, that there's a difference between believing something and its being that way, or just having a concept. Because if you have a concept, you're already there. I mean, to have a concept is to know that some things fall under it and some things don't, and you might get it wrong from time to time. And I think that is a tremendous problem, and that it may be that was part of what Wittgenstein was after when he talked about following a rule, and the difference between just acting in a regular way and having the idea that there's a right and a wrong way of doing it. And his answer to that, or his hint, or maybe what he has suggested, I don't want to bother with that. What he's inspired me to think may be there is at least this much, that interpersonal relations are essential to getting the idea of true and false, or right and wrong. Now, I don't. Here again, what I'm interested in to start with is just the necessary, or some of the necessary conditions for having the idea of right and wrong, or true and false. Now, I guess I would still follow the policy of saying that comes at the same time that one is learning the simplest concepts, which are propositional, really, because I mean, just yellow, rabbit, mama, and so forth are sentences, and they're right or wrong. So content and the notion of truth are certainly coming together right from the start. So in that sense, I think I'm completely with you. But my way of thinking about this is perhaps not at all what you would consider satisfactory or the right way to do it. Then there's the even simpler situation in which neither person, or take a larger group, it doesn't matter, has these concepts, and they somehow work their way into it. And that seems to me even harder to speculate about. But I think still one can speak of some of the necessary conditions for this, which are quite complex. And I think they throw some light, but only so much, on this wonderfully mysterious business of breaking into thought.
Right. Well, I guess with my first question I was aiming perhaps to get you to drive a wedge between your earlier work and your later work, which didn't...
Well, perhaps I was to some extent in what I was saying just now.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I think so, because with this business about error, I'm entirely in agreement with you that the conception of being wrong, or possibility of grasping the possibility of being wrong, is absolutely essential to the understanding of at least the esoteric use of language, and hence of judgment. So I don't quarrel with that at all. It seems to me that you make a different use of the notion of error now in what you just said and have said on previous occasions. For example, your talk at Reading, which I had, the recent conference. It seems to me that that's quite different from the use that you, and much better from my standpoint, than the use that you made of it in your earlier work. In your earlier work, if I understood it correctly, the notion of error comes in because trying to construct a theory of meaning, and that means from your point of view a truth theory, for a particular language, you start off by noting the conditions that obtain when people, speakers of the language, hold as various sentences true. Then you try to construct a truth theory that matches that as well as possible. It never matches it perfectly if it's to be a theory built by recursion on the words of which the sentences are composed. And so you attribute the mismatch to errors, mistakes on the part of the speakers.